Hello, people, how are you? So, you already know me because you found me on social media, and that's where I ask you to tell me what you want me to talk about. And I did a little survey, and all of you, well, most of the people follow me, told me to talk about Spanglish. I don't know why. Maybe because it's an interesting topic, or maybe because they want to know more about the culture. I don't know, but we will find out. So, first of all, like I already said, I'm going to talk about Spanglish. And what is Spanglish? Spanglish is like a third language. I will say that. And it's like Spanish and English combined together. Or it's just the word in English sounding more Spanish. And that's how I learned. Even me, when I was growing up in Colombia, we have this word lunch. In English, it's lunch. In Spanish, will be lonche. But for me, because I was growing up, hearing that word, it was so familiar, and I never thought about like, oh, that's not a Spanish word, or that is an English word. But I grew up listening to that word lunch, or the little lunch box. We call them, or we call it lonchera. For me, it's just like an object. It's like I grew up. It gave me that language, like the triangle I studied in one of my classes. So yeah, and I was like, oh, now that I was doing this research about uh, Spanglish, and that word come out, I was like, oh well, that's interesting. I didn't know that word, it wasn't in fact Spanish. It was a combination of word, the English and Spanish, and put together. Another word was parking in English, but parqueadero in Spanish, and it's come from the English. But in Spanish, for parking, it will be uh, estacionamiento, which means parking. And I grew up also hearing, oh, we are going to the parking, to the parqueadero. And it stuck with me, and I had a discussion with one of my friends, and I told them, no, that's a Spanish word. And they say, no, that's an English word that come from parking, but people say parqueadero. And it was like, that experience was like eye-opening, because I was in that environment and I didn't realize it. It's like, oh my god, I didn't know even my own language, Spanish, because there is so many words that I didn't know. For example, I freak out. For example, freak out. We don't use this expression, but Puerto Rican, they do. They say freaking, freaking. Oh, I'm freaking. No, estoy freaky. That will be freaking out, or freaking, or afraid, or something like that. I can't remember well, but we are gonna do more research about that. So that's my first part, and I'm gonna come back in a little short. I'm back. Okay, so we left at what was it? Oh, Spanglish. Yeah, yeah. So you know me, I do my research. So I read this article about Dr. Pepper. I think everyone knows about Dr. Pepper, the drink. Learns how to speak a third language. Hmm. Guess what? Spanglish. And why they say learn learn how to speak a third language. So Dr. Pepper is a drink, a soft drink, and they want to reach to our other what is called market segment, market or customers. And nowadays the biggest population in the United States is young Latinos, American. and they indeed speak Spanglish, and that's, I would say, their own language because that's how they grew up. So companies want to get their money, yeah. So that's how they can relate to the young population and get their attention to make them feel that the company, the brand, speak their language. So, and it is an interesting research about how they combine the word and they define it as a third language. I never thought about that, but it's interesting. And another research or article that I read was the hybrid voice of Latino in the United States. And it's just talk about how politicians also use they want to relate to young or the Latino population in the U.S. and they want to make them welcoming, feel like they belong here, and they want to talk the same way they want. The people are hearing that Latino, they feel like, oh my God, they speak almost like me using this word. So that way, politician gain those votes. Sorry. And another article I read was the future of Spanglish, global or trivial. What do you think? Will be like something global or something trivial, or is only in the United States? Well, I already told you that I'm from Colombia, and I grew up hearing those words like lonchera, lonche, parqueadero, and so many words that for me it will be like I think that's Spanish, but surprise. And well, uh, what else can I tell you about my research? Hmm. Well, that's all I have for now. And thank you for listening to me. And I hope my pronunciation was almost perfect. And you can learn something from my research and my time. And we are gonna see you next time in another. Hmm, I will say this was what I gonna call it Spanglish 101. Next time will be Spanglish 102, and we are gonna explore more about the culture and other regions of the United States that talk that way, and how media and marketer and they want to, I don't know, to relate to other people like me, or like when, for example, oh, I forgot an important example. Sofia Vergara, she's a uh, actress in this TV show called Modern Family. She plays a woman from Colombia. She's also from Colombia in the real life, and she said like now I feel so related to her because she said, "Oh, I will learn. No, I will sound so smart in Spanish. I know I sound dumb in English, but I feel like when I'm talking, some people can understand me." Well, that was my contribute. Blah, blah. That was my contribution. I guess is that the word for my followers. Thank you.